Okay, so I'm kind of setting this up again. Um, so what we're going to do is do the install and show you kind of what I've got set up here. So the first step is getting the actual install of TILP. You want to install that, you're good to go. What I had to do for Windows 11 to get all this to work, as the screenshots in here, is it looks like this. So I run it as administrator. You'll see here, nothing is in here really. You click list all devices. That will replace all your devices. Now this is where you plug in your silver cable. This is a USB silver TI cable. I don't know, it's like 20 bucks, something like that. Overpriced. Anyways, that cable will look like this in here. It will say TI GraphLink USB. So this is what it will look like, and then this is the driver you want to install. That'll take a while. That will give you what it should look like is this right here. Oh, just blowing up right now, so I don't have a ton of time. Um, so this right here is what it'll look like when it's happy and good to go. Now, what you want to do is do a full reset, whatever you need to do to get this thing on, and then you want to plug the bottom in. Now they're saying that the jacket around here might you have to cut this on some models because it's too small. This fits perfectly in here. So I kind of push it in, make sure it's in all the way. Now what I did improperly was I did a let's see if we got focus. I turned the autofocus off for now at least, so we won't be jumping all over the place. What you want to see is after the setup, you want to see it look like this. You want to see this TI GraphLink deal. This is what you want it to look like, right? If not, go back to this step and make sure this thing works and installs the right drivers. Now, the first part you're going to want to do is do an upload, and not a send or whatever. So this is a restore, not a send file. Now, if you want to check to see if everything's happy, you'll see it in here show up, but you also have to pick the right calculator in here. Do not pick direct link for me. I did Silverlink and then TI-82 port 1, and then click OK. It takes a minute. Now on the Linux version, you'll see debugging and stuff in the background. The way to test it, I found, is take a screenshot and just put a bunch of 8s in here or whatever, and you'll see it. And then you'll see in here now we have our screenshots. So we have some level of connectivity. We know we can at least do talk to the thing. So your first step is going to put it into receive files. You do second link. I'm blowing up here, so let me try to finish this up. You hit receive. We'll say waiting. Well, it looks like it says waiting because I'm missing a few pixels here. Then you click on restore, and then you're going to go to restore not send. This crash. Now you have to rename. For me, I don't know. I had to rename this to lowercase, so you may have to rename it, but these are what I use, and this is what worked. Now it'll warn you have to continue, or else it'll all time out. And it takes just a second. Now you have crash installed, but what you also need to pull in is go back to receive, click receive, then you can click send file here. You'll go back, and then you go to send files, and this will take a second. There's no confirmation for the send files. I think the restore is like, hey, we're going to restore your whole thing. You might brick your device type of deal. I don't know. Now that we've gotten that, it looks like at least, yep, done. So now we can go back, clear out of this, clear out of this. Now we have it installed. Now, what I did find out is that if you have the cable plugged in, it will act wonky. So always keep this unplugged until the software is running. To exit the program, I had to unplug the cable. This is the little dongle you want to have. It's a 2.5 to 3 millimeter. Now, these are different. This one has got an extra ring on it for microphones. So you actually want to get the 3-pin. I don't know if it makes a difference. Stereo does work for me. So either way, this should work. But if you want to be extra careful, get one that matches the pin out on the actual silver cable. There is stereo and so you can pan with this because you've got looks like 3 different channels. So if you have 3 channels, you can probably do stereo, right? Or at least left and right. So this is what you need. You plug this in the bottom. This is going to make a clicky poppy sound. So now we're 3.5 to 2. This is plugged into my speakers, my monitors here, which will clack and get all angry. We hear a heartbeat. That's probably from the calculator itself. So we'll turn that off. Try to turn it off at least. I'll turn the calculator off, turn it back on. I don't know. That might be just what I'm hearing from the software, the Windows software. No, that would be, yeah, I don't know why we're hearing that. Anyways, we'll quickly load the program. So actually, we'll unplug this first. Program. We'll see crash is what we want to load. Whoop. Crash is what we want to load. And then once we press enter, it'll load crash, which is the simpler thing that you can load other programs. And then this is the actual tracker itself. And now we're in the tracker. Now if you hit play, you'll see a little P pop up for a second. But now is when you plug it in, once it's actually set up. Now we don't hear that heartbeat in the background. I think there's default patterns, so I'm going to go ahead and hit 23 in here, just because nothing should be on 23. And then I'll hit play, and it doesn't actually play anything. The first 3 channels are kind of notes or instruments, and the last is effects, and then drums. And you can apply effects to other channels. I haven't quite figured out how to do like a sustained note, and when I tried to do that, I ended up making this video because I ended up breaking. It wouldn't play past the first pattern. It wouldn't even go to the second beat. So here we're playing something with nothing on it, so we have a P, and now we're good to go. So we can go back into here, and everything is driven by second and alpha. So we'll go second to bring up the notes. So we'll just put a bunch of A's in here. We'll put like a F, and then F, F, C, C. Okay, so that's one pattern. Each one of these, you'll have to kind of look how trackers work. I haven't done them. It's a whole thing. These trackers were kind of a whole thing that was built basically by a bunch of crackers. And it never really made it past that small group of very smart people. So in here, if you clear this out using alpha 0, that'll clear out a whole pattern. And then, so now we have default. That's the default drums, which is like an endless drum pattern for some reason. So if we go 0, 1, or even 0, 0, we get nothing. So this is a blank pattern. So we can come in here, go to second once we've selected it, and say we'll do like a 1. I know 5 is good. It's decent. And then like another 1 at the 4 mark. Then 6. Then 8. Then we'll do like D, D, D. Then, yeah. So you can start to see that this is kind of how it works. Now the instructions are fairly straightforward, but if something does happen, you can clear out the whole thing by doing window or Y. This is load save, and this is wipe. So you can press wipe and then say 0 to confirm. Dot to cancel, I think. No, it's 0 to cancel. Dot to confirm. So I can put something in here and then say 0 cancel, and it doesn't clear out that pattern. Of course, y'all can't see because I'm in the way. So now to confirm, you do dot. To cancel, you do 0. That's pretty much the basics of it. You can really have to understand how trackers work to really get the feel for it. But you got your 3 channels here, and then you got your drums and your effects, and those start to get complicated because you start talking about hex values and trying to understand ranges between hex values. I'm pretty sad that I can't quite understand the instruction booklet, but did some geeking out just trying to get this to work. And I do believe that Windows 11 with the drivers, this works. It's just very quirky, and you have to actually know what you're doing. And that took probably 4 hours or something like that to get this set up and figured out correctly. Anyways, I hope that helps out. You can export There's information on how to export stuff. But if you do get this working on a different platform, maybe with a different hardware setup, please do a post. This stuff is dying. This is all from 2016. There's some Reddit posts about people posting it, so I'm gonna try to post this everywhere I can because people are saying this doesn't work and blah 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 blah. This is an 82, and they say it might not work for an 82, but I was able to get it to work for an 82 because I got lucky. I don't know. So, anyways, appreciate it. Take it easy. There's other ways to get your version information. That's kind of important once you get into the wonky models, but this is pretty straightforward, old school 82. Anyways, appreciate it. Take it easy.